So, as promised, I'm going to go over some basic preventative measures for Ebola, if it is here. I truly believe there's a very high probability that it is. A lot of people from an area that is heavily infected were led into this country, and it was believed by the medical officials in Texas where they came in that if they tested clear in the plasma, that they couldn't infect anybody. Well, just a couple days ago, an article came out that showed clearly that's not the case. People who've had it and recovered from it still can have the virus in a lot of areas of the body that don't directly show evidence in the bloodstream. Certain fluids, the testicles, the eyes, they can infect, and now they have infected people. So this could very well be the case. This version of Ebola isn't like from the movies years ago, where somebody gets sick and with 24 hours they can't even stand up and they're coated with sweat, and then within 36 hours they're dead, and then the virus turns them into this puddle of yuck. And it's not like that. It presents like the flu. It presents like the measles. It presents like a myriad other sicknesses. So you could be exposed to it and not even know. Now, I will say this. There's a very high mortality rate of Ebola Zaire in Africa. All diseases have higher mortality rates in Africa because the people there are so compromised. Here, there would be a death toll, but not 70%. It would still be a terrible thing to have to deal with. So, of course, what you're looking at on your screen to the right are some very basic common sense type things. If you're going to be pumping gas and out in places where people have touched things, might not be a bad idea to have some gloves. Hand sanitizer is always a good idea, no matter what. The mask that I have shown here in the lower right, a little bit of an upgraded version of a mask, but you can make whatever decision financially you want for yourself. But in the kind of center lower left, it's just a picture of two people staying home and either watching a movie, playing a board game, having a conversation, listening to music. A whole bunch of things you can do that don't require you to be out in public. Now, one of the big pushbacks that I got the last time I talked about this was this garbage called colloidal silver. And I asked a question, and none of the colloidal silver people could answer it. It kind of shut them up, because they kept coming to the video saying, oh, drink this, it'll cure this, it'll prevent that, blah, blah, blah. And I said, really? So if I whipped up a batch of frosty cold colloidal silver and put it right in the center of a table and sat you and a person sick with Ebola at the table, and that person took a big old backwashy drink of it and set it back down, you'd have no problem taking a drink after that person? Because clearly pure colloidal silver should kill. So should kill on contact Ebola. So you shouldn't have any problem doing that. And I didn't get any response from the people. So can colloidal silver be part of a strategy? Sure. Should you count on it to protect you? No. Is it good for you? Yes. Does it kill Ebola on contact if you drink it and you're infected? No. Absolutely not. This is the problem with the people that try to push this kind of quackery on people. You're going to get people sick, and you're going to get people possibly killed by over-promising what the stuff can do. Now, behavior-wise, if it's here and it found its root in those people that came in from the Congo, more than likely some of those people ended up in homeless camps or in contact with people who were. And if it's going to start to fester, this is where it will happen. The culture of the homeless, and I'm going to try to be careful what I'm saying here, because there's different strata in that community as there is in normal home, I guess, possessing people, whatever you want to call them. The homeless, sometimes there's a shame factor, and they'll wait until night to come out and do whatever they need to do. And they'll go to 24-hour places, truck stops especially, because they have public showers. It's not a proud moment. Please pray for the homeless, pray for those that have, been down on their luck, and that they can get back someplace where they can, have a roof over their head again. Now, there are some people that choose to be homeless, even giving the option, believe it or not. And then there's, the mentally ill and those that don't have the ability to really understand the ramifications of their actions. Either way, there could be people out there that have the sniffles, maybe have a rash, some body aches, a fever, and they think they just have a cold or some other normal disease, and they could very well have this. This is where they would spread it. 24-hour restaurants, 24-hour grocery stores, 24-hour gas station places. Avoid them. Just don't go. If you have any other option, which the vast majority of you should. And the right, I put up this picture just trying to reinforce the idea that these garbage supplements and these money-making scams that have run here on YouTube and everywhere else, trying to get your money, promising all sorts of wonderful, medical benefits. This story is old as time. Snake oil salesmen. Avoid them. Also, the picture on the left is from a Walmart. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let it speak for itself. If you absolutely positively don't have to go to an urgent care or an emergency room, don't. Very recently, I busted my foot. I didn't go. Sucked it up. I'm dealing with it, letting it heal. Just because I don't want to make a bad situation worse. And I live in a pretty decent area of Florida, but I'm still not going to go. I'm just not going to take the risk unless I'm dying, I'm not going. That's just the way it is. So, anyway, this is what I wanted to cover today. Most of it's common sense. There are no magical cures for this stuff. And honestly, if you just use your head, you'll be able to get through this just fine. And by the way, don't count on anybody to announce on the news, oh, we've diagnosed it here. Oh, we've diagnosed it there. You see, you have to test for it specifically. There's no just one random test or machine where you put in a blood sample and it just spits out, this person has Ebola. That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. They have specific tests for specific things. So if they don't test for Ebola, they don't have to report it. And believe me, I am sure somewhere tucked in a drawer in an administrator's desk, there is some directive to not test for this. It's my belief they'd rather let people die, a small percentage of them, than have to test for it and then have that be something that made its way into the consciousness of the people conducting the tests or the people in the hospital or somebody saying, hey, I was diagnosed with this. So don't expect that they're going to tell you. They'll explain it away some other way. And we've seen some very suspicious things. There was a ship at sea that got quarantined. There was I believe it was in Denver. There was an entire school that got quarantined. Little events here and there where they try to explain stuff away. And it's making me wonder if they know it's here, and some of the treatment for this particular strain mimics treatment for other things. There was even a small article I wish I would have found to share it with you, how the military had been working on making the Ebola virus hide inside the measles virus, so that if you got one, you got the other. Didn't seem like it would be possible, but that's what they were doing. So, anyway, just be safe, be smart, and don't fall for the quackery. Like, share, subscribe.